Hello again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. I'm your host, Prince Magnum, and welcome to another edition of Two Sides of the Same Coin. As the title suggests, we're getting ready for the Cruise In for the Blind, which is a benefit for blind children. Um, Let me all give you a little history. Way back when I was real young, I was just a little kid. We're talking, still the 1980s. Um, you know, One of the things that I was exposed to early on is I actually met someone who was blind. This guy was a former truck driver and went by the CB handle of Sundown. Now, for those who don't know, back then CBs were still pretty popular thanks to thanks to movies like Smokey and the Bandit and whatnot. But anyhow, Sundown, whose real name was Jim. I'd never really learned his last name, but Jim was an interesting character. He was very influential, and I had a chance to get close to Jim, and I had found out that he was a truck driver, and somehow, some way, he got into it with a bunch of other truckers. He got hit in the head with a tire tool, and eventually led to him going blind. Now Jim was not he was on disability and everything, and he was very content with the fact that he was blind. He was okay with that fact, and um, I made the mistake one time of asking him, "Do you ever wish you had your eyesight back?" And he said no. He said, "The way the world is going today, I just don't want to see." He's like, "I'm glad I don't have to see it." He said, "But I will tell you because I love you and your little brother so much. I would give anything to be able to see you guys for just 5 minutes." He said, "I would give anything to just see what you kids really look like," and that was really sweet of Jim. He was a good man, um, and I don't know if he's still alive. Mom eventually stopped talking to him later on through years, but he was such a good man that anytime I meet anyone who's blind, I automatically, regardless of personality, I guess just because of a fondness for old Jim, old Sundown, because of my fondness for him, typically speaking, I automatically, I don't give them necessarily like sympathy, because I know most people who have some sort of disability don't want that, but automatically gravitate towards them, just because. And actually, if it hadn't been for Jim, I don't know if I would have ever considered nursing, which was my career later on in life, and of course many people were helped through that whole situation, that whole deal of me working nursing. So when we took Project Spirit to the Azalea Festival Car Show and that sort of thing, and we were, there were people going around saying, "Why don't you come to this car show? Come to that car show, blah 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 blah." And I told them, that someone came up with a flyer for Cruise In for the Blind, and it was a benefit, basically to raise money for blind children. And when I told them that I was a low-budget YouTuber, I was a local low-budget YouTuber, that, was there anything I could do? And they asked me if I would be willing to kind of to push this a little bit, because obviously this is, to maybe one day hopefully find a cure for blindness, obviously, and especially in children, because, me being a parent, I couldn't imagine if any of my children had to go through life blind. And obviously, because of this, I want to do my very best. I want Spirit to be the very best she can be. We're not sure if Vera's going to be ready, but we're going to try to get her ready to be showed, and hopefully she is able to go. But if not, it'll just be Spirit, which is just fine by me. And some of you might be saying, "Well, Prince Magnum, in this video, you're just kind of reusing some clips." Well, we're kind of getting to, the stuff that's going on right now. This is serious stuff. I mean, so we pulled off the washer bottle again. We had to clean it up because of the accident, the artwork, and everything. Like I said, we want, there's going to be other cars there competing in the car show, and it's going to be based on how much money you help raise. Having your car there depends on how you get a trophy. So, we pulled the washer bottle off. I had to do some serious sanding. We got to work on it, and this is kind of what it was before Princess Faye's artwork really went into it. It's pretty plain Jane right at that. And I wanted to do the top in Ford Blue as well, but unfortunately I was running out of Ford Blue, and I haven't picked up any more yet. But I still had a lot of silver. I've got a lot of silver because we use silver on both cars, so I had tons of that. But not enough Ford Blue because Faye doesn't use Ford Blue. So got that all cleaned up, even modified it where, it's the piece that kind of held the cap to it, it just wasn't working. So I, trimmed that up and everything. And then, of course, Princess Faye's heart and wings that she does specifically for Project Spirit. Um, I had to do a little bit of color sanding on that finish because it was just too shiny. And if you know anything about paint, if it's, if it gets like that, you have to knock some of the glaze off so you can paint over that. So the paint will adhere. So I had to actually do a little bit of color sanding. But once that was done, it was like boom. It was like there's that emblem again. And then of course I did a little bit of clear, put some clear coat on it. Worked really hard on this. Um, and it just that piece now I can't wait till you see it all. But like I said, this is not just for another trophy. But the Prince Magnum channel is all about supporting the community. And and when I say the community, I don't mean politicians. I mean the community. you know, I want to be out there doing charity work and charity events to help raise money and awareness for others, for the right cause. And blindness because of old Jim, good old Sundown, uh, wherever he's at, I hope he's doing well. But after that piece is done, there you have it. I mean, I've even been doing a little wire looming, just been doing a lot of hard work trying to clean Spirit up and get her ready for this car show. I even went so far as to get new wiper arms on it. Of course, the biggest conversation piece right now is not only the shift knob, but my special dice that Princess Faye did by doing needlepoint. She actually made those really awesome pieces. And of course, doing a little extra work here and there. Even got under the car. You really can't tell till the camera stops shaking. Another one of those camera fails. Because I was doing this kind of on my own. Faye was at work, but I even greased some of the fittings underneath. Typical routine maintenance. But, I want Spirit in tip-top form. That way, everybody gets to see her at her best. So that's where we're at in all of this. Um, you know, Spirit, being used to help bring some money for a charity event, the cruise in for the blind. Um, I'm excited. I hope we raise a lot of money. I hope Spirit raises a lot of money and a lot of awareness. Um, that's what this is all about here on the Prince Magnum channel, doing the right thing. And that's what I believe in, is doing the right thing. So, if you would, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. The sooner you all do that, the sooner we can do a lot more stuff like this. And above all, if nobody has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.